Juan Pablo, Andres, pleasure to be speaking with you both. Andres, I'll throw the two-parter at you first. How's your day going, and when did you actually finish this film?
I'm fine. I just got to Madrid today from Argentina.
Hmm.
I'm on vacation for the first time in, I don't know, since we made the movie.
Wow,
So
2022.
fine. Like I don't know, 3 years 3 years ago. I don't know.
that's a long time. Wow.
Yeah,
Well, I was
yeah.
curious
So
about that before I ask Juan Pablo more questions about that. In terms of finishing a movie, being an actor or a director is different than being the editor. You never know how many more takes the editor is going to have to do. So, was the edit the last part or one of the last parts of the whole film?
I actually we edited the movie, both of us.
Okay.
It was a long process that we shared like for a year, and being like a process like an unusual process, no, because it was not like a normal movie in which I don't know, I'm working for someone who's had a deadline, and we have some time. Here we wanted to make the best movie possible, so we worked for a long time, and in between other jobs and traveling, and
Sure.
we started editing in Italy, then we met in Mexico, we then I continued in Buenos Aires while Juan Pablo was in Madrid, I think, and then in LA. And it was a long process.
A
So
long
I
process.
don't think this was the typical editing situation.
So, Juan Pablo, I didn't realize that you also contributed to the editing. I knew you starred in it. I knew that you co-directed it. When you were putting together the movie, did you know that you wanted to have so many jobs on the project as opposed to trusting anyone else with directing or co-editing?
I love that word, trusting.
Sure.
Um, yeah, I kind of did. I mean, knew from the beginning also that I love putting my fingers in all the pies, especially the edit.
Sure.
Um, so I
And
don't think
the color grading
Oh,
and the writing, yeah, and
and the music.
and the music. So yeah, I think it was always going to be that way. The thing is, I feel incredibly lucky to have him, but also to have people that were co-doing things with us, like Devin Doyle, who was
mhm.
the director of photography, and the musicians Kjartan Holm and Sindri Sigfusson, and the college itself was almost like a co-producer. The I had a lot of help, so even if I did do a lot of things, I was also very supported and
Mhm.
accompanied the process.
Now, a follow-up question, a different direction, Juan Pablo. A
Yeah.
longtime admirer of your work, and I know that you're fluent in three languages, and you probably speak bits of another four or five languages. Seeing your skills and commitment to the craft, but how do you know which accent to apply to a particular role?
That's a good question. I've never been asked that question.
Yeah,
Um,
that's
uh,
new.
yeah. How do I
Every
know?
now and then, I'm original for a little bit, just once.
No, because it's a very nuanced question. You would be surprised. Sometimes you're not even doing the job, you're auditioning for the job, and it's actually my job to decide what accent I'm going to show in that audition. And a lot of the times, I try to read between the lines of what the character is, and I go, would this guy have more of an accent or less of an accent? Because there's tons of degrees of volume of, let's say, Spanish accent in an English speaking
Yeah.
role. So I don't know, with Matias, and before we forget, I wanted to be as close to what I know, which is that I have this transatlantic Spanish, Italian, English, American thing going on.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to shy away from it because also it was liberating to not put on an accent.
Hmm.
I have been putting on accents my whole career. I don't
Yes.
even think that I've ever had a role like Matthias in terms of that close to me. So it was liberating. It was cool. I didn't have to think of the accent, which is great.
But if I can contribute to this answer,
Please.
I think that that Juan Pablo used a lot of what he knows about accents and ways that it's amazing actually,
Hmm.
with a lot of with the character of Matthias, a young Matthias in the movie, and with Oscar, also with Oscar Morgan, because he's always talking about you should do it more like this, more things that I think even English speakers maybe won't be able to, or won't pay attention to it. No, and he's always thinking about those. Maybe you should be more posh or more this, more that, things like about conforming the characters. And in the case of a movie like this one, where you have a lot of foreign, say so, foreign accents, foreign uh,
Character.
characters
Yes.
speaking English, you have a lot of that. No, a lot of how much you should not understand of what this character is talking about. For example, no, how much I don't know. I think his sensibility for this it was especially important in this movie.
Sure.
Thank you.
Another thing that's impressive about the movie, besides the production, the story, the cast, is getting Norman Lear to executive produce it. I had the pleasure of interviewing Norman once, and what amazed me about him was how up he was on pop culture. Like he knew the top 40 songs. He knew what was happening in comedy. He never stopped learning. But how did he wind up giving his approval to this project?
He came on board really early on. We were still on script, and his partner Brent Miller, who I know, passed it on to him. And yeah, Norman said, "Yeah, let's do this." So they came on board as exec producers before we shot the film, and of course, his legacy, his taste, what is everything.
Yeah.
And to us, first-time directors, to hear also, one time he did mention, he did say that this was our movie. So to not listen to anyone. And we did have the luxury of, well, you could say the luxury and also the difficulty
Hmm.
of making an independent film where we didn't have to answer to anyone. Nobody. We answered to ourselves. So we had 100% freedom on who we cast, what we put in there, how we edited it, the colors, the music, everything, which was great. And and yeah, he was like very supportive in saying once opinions start coming in, and
Hmm.
just let those go because this is your legacy, you and Andres's legacy, and you make exactly the film you want to make.
Fantastic to hear. So the next thing I want to know as we start to wind down, this is a new movie to us, but for both of you, this was years going on, as you mentioned, fitting in between projects. Like no one would go, "Hey, Fuller House was happening at the same time." Nobody would really even know that. So it's a long, long commitment to all that. But are we allowed to know what's next for both of you or either of you? Or do we just have to wait until the Hollywood Reporter says it's okay to know what the next project is?
Well, I feel like Andres, since this movie happened, has had like, I don't know, 7 films that you edited or something. Crazy. I
Yeah,
mean, this
something like
guy
that.
is so busy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
doesn't take vacations until now.
yeah. It's a little like that. So
Yeah.
I haven't been thinking a lot about next project. I've been working in the next project, in one project after the other. I'm always thinking about something to next project to direct.
Hmm.
That should be something different. But I'm still working on it, and we are always talking with Juan Pablo about next ideas, but just talking.
Yeah, I got the bug. I got the bug
Eh?
in filmmaking. So they say once you wake up, you can't go back to sleep. And for me
Hmm.
to do this with Andres was like, yeah, I can't go back to just, being an interpreter. I love acting and I will continue to act until I drop dead. But but now it's almost a necessity that I need to direct and write. So yeah, I'm working on two, as in script. I'm writing two at the same time. One that is obviously more advanced and has nothing to do with this, and it's in a very different world. It's a period piece. It's set in the 1800s England. It's a fairy tale. Like it really is very different from this. But that excites me because I always want to. I mean, you can tell from the roles I've played. There's literally no correlation.
Yeah.
But that's how I know.
And to rudely interrupt you, and that's without talking about your singing career and the reality TV and the dancing stuff. It's you never know what's going to come next from Juan Pablo.
And it keeps it interesting for me, but also, yeah, I what I discovered about Before We Forget and the process of it is that you need to be in love with the world that you are talking about for a long time. Like this has been 3.5 years now. So to step into a new world really makes me excited, and it is. It's like you're having a baby, but at the same time you're having a relationship with this world, and so yeah, I'm excited to kind of go into this next fairy tale moment because I mean, at the end of the day, it is always about relationships, the kind of thing that I want to talk about, relationships and people and connection, and I'm kind of I want to. I don't know about you, Andres, but we are in such a weird time of cinema and series where there's a lot of things that are for effect, but little substance. So I kind of want to go back to those classic movies of the 80s and 90s and 70s where it was about people and about small stories. And about scenes where actors actually, are people, not
and new things,
And
what's
new
that?
things.
and new things. No, because we are in a period where something new is something rare to see.
Yeah,
It's all about something that previously existed or something that someone told before in another way or something like that. So thinking about where we can contribute to find something new to say, it's exciting.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to those future projects. Congratulations on Before We Forget. But more importantly, congratulations on you two for being friends for decades, even after working together multiple times. That is the most amazing part of this all to me.
I know. You know what? I was talking to a producer and I was talking about our partnership, Andres and I, and he was like, "Well, that doesn't work." No, it doesn't work to be working with like co-directing something. Oh, that always ends in disaster. And I'm like, well, it did not for us.
Well,
You have to know how to fight. That's the thing.
That's the thing. There is actually, there's
There's
actually a way.
constructive ways to fight, and there's destructive ways to fight.
Yeah,
That's the thing.
we fight a lot, but we never go to bed angry.
well, that is a future.
It's not about.
To rudely interrupt you again, that is a future script and or book about how you're able to be friends that work together so closely on multiple projects that everybody sees, things that are personal, that universal. So whatever it is that's coming next from you, both of you, looking forward to it.
Thank you so much, Darren.
Thank you.
Paltrocast.